So as everybody knows, Arman Sarukian is the number one ranked lightweight in the world. But he is not fighting for the belts. Because as you know, Justin Gaethje versus Piblet was announced last week. And it's funny because prior to the Arman and Hooker fight, Dana was asked whether that fight was for the number one contender, even though Arman Sarukian is the number one contender. But okay, he's the boss. Dana White's the boss. So cool. He confirmed that. Then after the fight, Arman wasn't too sure. After his win, he was even screaming at Hunter. I believe it's Hunter Campbell. And apparently Hunter said, we'll think about it. To be honest, I knew that they weren't going to give him the title shot, because if you were going to give him the title shot, I would have said, yeah, you're next there and then. Do you know what I mean? So, but obviously the UFC 323 event recently took place, literally 2 days ago or a day ago now. And at the post-fight press conference, Dana White had some interesting things to say about Arman Sarukian, because he was asked some questions. So let's actually dissect it, guys. Let me get the video up for you. I have two different videos, but if they both cover exactly what I wanna speak about, then I won't play the two videos. So yeah, let me get it up for you guys. Shit, why does it feel like my desk has gotten smaller, bro? All right, cool.
Say that he's the odd man out.
Well,
He had an opportunity, and you guys know how that played out, and he's gonna have to work his way back. I don't give a shit what the number says. He's gonna have to work his way back. There's just too much goes into this for those type of things to happen. We had a little. We were talking back in my room tonight, and we were talking about all the crazy shit that's happened over the last 20-something years. But you can't do that. You can't get the opportunity, and then it can't end that way. So he's got to work his way back.
So the message is take the next fight you offer him, obviously.
No, I mean, he obviously he knows what's going on. I don't give a shit what everybody else says. He knows what's going on, and he's got to work his way back to that title shot.
All right. So I don't think I'm going to need to play the next video. To be honest, I should have played it from the other, because it was the Mac Life that actually covered it as well. I should have played it from the Mac Life. Shout out to Mr. McGregor. We got to keep supporting Mr. McGregor. But so Dana says he needs to work his way back. What does that mean? He's the number one contender. Don't get me wrong. Pulling out a day before is fucking crazy. Like, I'm a very big fan of Arman Sarukian, but that there, I can't lie. I'll say it for what it is. That is actually very, very wrong, because the whole event could have potentially collapsed because of you pulling out. So I get where Dana White's, from a business standpoint, I completely get where Dana White's coming from. But we're saying he needs to work his way back. He's beaten most of the guys in the top 10. So who's actually left to him? And it's like, and Dana claims Arman Sarukian knows what's going on. Maybe that's why he hasn't really said too much. Because all he's really said since they announced the interim title bout is make it make sense. He did a little interview, and apparently he said he knew they were going to make Paddy versus Justin, but I believe he said he didn't know it was going to be for an interim belt. But I don't get how Arman's meant to work his way back. Like, who's he going to fight? Oliveira's fighting Max Holloway. So, listen, it's got to be Holloway or... Because, yeah, I don't think Charles is winning that fight. So it's got to be Holloway or the winner of Paddy and Justin, or the loser of Paddy and Justin that he fights next. Because the winner of that is going to go on to fight for the belt. So how does he actually work his way back up? He's beaten Oliveira already. What, are you going to give him Gamrot? which everyone knows he beat Gamrot. Okay, if you want to make that again, what, Fiziev? I'll be real, he mauls Fiziev, respectfully. So it's like, what can he actually, where does Arman Tsarukyan go from here? Because really and truly, the only fights that are there to be made, really and truly, are rematches, because everyone else is booked up. Unless we're not going to see Arman Tsarukyan fight for another year plus. Because everybody, Huffy is fighting Fiziev. Benil Dariush, he beat Benil Dariush convincingly, and Benil Dariush has moved down in the rankings anyway. Unless, I know Hooker's fighting Benil Saint Denis. Okay, you could make Saint Denis and Arman after Hooker, but I'll be honest, Arman deals with him very comfortably, in my opinion. So, you know, those, to be honest, the only matchups that they can give him, in my opinion, is Holloway after he fights Oliveira, the winner of Justin and Paddy, the loser of Justin and Paddy, or BSD, because I think BSD may just beat Hooker. We'll see. I don't know. But there isn't much options for Arman Tsarukyan. So we potentially won't see Arman Tsarukyan fight for another year plus. And it's a shame, man, because he's in his prime. He's 29 years of age. He should be active. But one thing I want people to understand here, one thing that's inevitable is Arman Tsarukyan will become a champion one day. It's just what I hope doesn't happen is what has happened with a lot of champions in recent times, like Leon Edwards, Bilal Muhammad. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else. I can't think off the top of my head, but those two had to. It's like Lerone Murphy again. Like, these guys have had to work their arse off to a title shot. Like, literally work their arse off. And then you got a man like Paddy who's just been steamrolled. These guys are putting work to the point most of their highlights are in their title run. Happened in their title run. So by the time they get the belt, they don't really have no highlight finishes when they're defending the belt, etc., etc. And another thing I just wanted to point out, because I actually saw it the other day. It doesn't surprise. Listen, obviously Arman Tsarukyan's situation is a bit different, but the featherweight has had a number one ranked contender for about 2 to 3 years now, and that guy, Evelev, I don't know how to say his first name, Movsar Evelev, I think that's how you say it, and he still hasn't had a shot at the title, and he's been number one contender for how many years? Just let that sink in, guys. Obviously, I understand, like I said, from a business standpoint, where the UFC is coming from in regards to Arman Tsarukyan. But with the options he has, how does he actually get back to getting the title shot then? But Dana White claims Arman Tsarukyan knows what's going on. But before we end the video, one thing I do want to say is, how can Dana White say he doesn't give a shit what his ranking says? Are you saying that? Are you referring to Arman's number, or are you generalizing, like you don't give a shit what the numbers say? Who you feel deserves a title shot gets the title shot. Is that what you're saying? That's all I want to know, because it's a bit confusing. But the UFC need to sort out this problem of some guys getting steamrolled. And don't get me wrong, I get why they're steamrolling some guys, but they're never, like, in my honest opinion, Paddy is not on the level of Conor McGregor, or even close, or ever will be close, for him to be getting steamrolled. That's just my opinion. No disrespect. I'm just saying how I see things. What's next for Arman Tsarukyan? Let me know in the comments. Who do you think the UFC should match him up with? Like and subscribe, guys.